Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're taking a look at the global beauty giant, Shiseido. Now, a lot of investors can get caught up in the daily waves of stock market noise, but we're going to dive a little deeper. We want to understand the really powerful currents that are shaping its future. You know, when you look at any company's stock, it is so easy to get lost in all that day-to-day noise. You see the ups, the downs, the constant chatter, and it can pull your focus in a million different directions. We like to call these the surface waves. You know, the short-term ups and downs, the knee-jerk reactions to headlines. And the problem is, they can make investors completely miss the bigger, much more powerful movements that are happening just beneath the surface. So in this explainer, we're going to look right past those waves to really understand the massive currents that are shaping Shiseido's future. We'll touch on that short-term volatility, but then we'll get into the company's deep transformation, its engine of profitability, its growth drivers, how it's rewarding shareholders, and then, finally, the voyage ahead. Okay, so let's start with those surface waves. For Shiseido, this means taking a quick look at the recent market fluctuations that might have caught your eye. This kind of volatility, which we see across the entire market, right? It can easily hide the underlying health and the deliberate strategy of any single company. It paints this picture of chaos, but believe me, it is not the whole picture. But now, let's go ahead and look beneath that choppy surface, because what's really happening at Shiseido is this powerful, very deliberate shift. This isn't about reacting to the market. This is about rebuilding from the inside out. You see, Shiseido is right in the middle of a radical transformation. They're focusing on core fundamental strength, things like profitability and brand power, instead of just chasing volatile market sentiment. They are steering their own ship with their own compass, not just following the changing winds. So here's the crucial point. Understanding exactly how Shiseido is building this new, more profitable foundation. And it's all about a disciplined, clear-eyed path to growth. The company has set a really ambitious goal, but it's also a very clear one. So let's break down exactly how they plan to get there. All right, just take a look at these numbers. The scale of this jump they're planning is, well, it's massive. The forecast shows their core operating profit climbing from 44.5 billion yen up to 69 billion. That is a huge 55% increase, pushing their profit margin to a really solid 7%. Now, this isn't just wishful thinking. This is being driven by some really intense structural reforms that, by the way, already helped them beat their 2025 profit targets. So, a huge part of this strategy comes from something that isn't always glamorous, but boy is it powerful, becoming a more efficient, leaner organization on a global scale. And the results are already speaking for themselves. In 2025 alone, the company cut its fixed costs by 27 billion yen. That was way above what they originally planned. This is really the first half of the equation, pure operational discipline. And they are not stopping. They're targeting another 25 billion yen in savings for 2026, tightening up the entire ship, from production costs all the way to personnel expenses. But this isn't just about saving money, it's about creating financial firepower. And that newfound efficiency, it's not just about cutting costs, it's about freeing up capital so you can reinvest it where it's going to matter most, into the high-yield brands that are going to power Shiseido's future growth. See, it's a crucial balance. You cut the fat and you feed the muscle. The company is making a very smart, very strategic shift. They're moving their focus and their marketing dollars away from less productive areas and pouring it directly into their most profitable, high-growth brands. It's all about focus. And this just perfectly illustrates the results of that focus. You have these amazing premium brands like Peau, Beauté, and NARS just powering ahead with impressive double-digit growth. Because of this strategic concentration, these key brands now make up a whopping 77% of total sales. That's driving real momentum right where it counts. Okay, so what does this leaner operation and this focused growth actually mean for the people who invest in the company? Well, it all comes down to a really crucial concept: capital efficiency. To really wrap our heads around this, we need to look at a key metric called ROIC, or Return on Invested Capital. For an investor, this is absolutely crucial. It basically measures how effectively a company is using your money and its own to generate profits. So, a rising ROIC, that is a very strong signal that management is creating real, sustainable value. And here is the whole story in one simple chart. Shiseido is forecasting a dramatic turnaround in its ROIC from a negative 2% in 2025 to a target of a positive 5% in 2026. This isn't just a small tweak. It's a fundamental improvement in how the business generates value from every single dollar it invests. And here it is, the direct payoff for investors. This improved efficiency and profitability allows Shiseido to significantly increase its planned annual dividend from 40 yen per share to 60 yen. That's a 50% increase, a direct reward to its shareholders. So, what does this all mean for the voyage ahead? Well, it means the strength of these deep currents we've been talking about is what's going to create a clear and steady path forward for the company. And it's really important to remember that all of these financial metrics, all these strategic moves, they're not just happening in a vacuum. They are all designed to support the company's long-term vision, bringing beauty to every moment and every life. Ultimately, the whole story here is really about perspective. It's about looking past the daily noise of the market to see the solid foundation that's being built for sustained long-term growth. That ocean current, it's rising profitability. And that really leaves us with a final thought. As Shiseido executes this powerful and disciplined turnaround, navigating by its own charts, the real question is, when will the wider market stop watching the choppy surface and finally recognize the undeniable strength of the current flowing just below?